Now, CDC Group, a leading United Kingdom development finance institution, signed a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, marking the beginning of high-impact participation in strategic sectors of the Nigerian economy. Now, let's deepen this discussion as CDC Group Head of Office and Coverage Director for Nigeria, Benson Adenuga, joins us now. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Now, tell us more about the partnerships which CDC is forging with Nigeria's institutions and companies on the ground.
Thank you very much, Hohi. CDC Group PLC is the DFI of the UK government. We have been doing business here in Nigeria since 1948, and Nigeria is one of the top 3 countries in which CDC invests in Africa as well as in South Asia. We are doing a lot in Nigeria, but we realize that the challenges in the country and the rest of the continent is quite significant. And because of that, we realize we can't do this alone. And that is the reason why we are partnering with strategic institutions in Nigeria and elsewhere to be able to deepen our impact. The NSIA, Nigeria Sovereign Wealth Fund, is one of those partners that we have in Nigeria. And essentially, we signed an MOU with them to be able to work together, basically sharing information and considering co-investment in key sectors of the economy. As you may be aware, NSIA has done a lot of investment in the infrastructure space, in agriculture, in healthcare, and we want to partner with them to be able to deepen that. So at the moment, we are currently looking at various investments in the infrastructure space, as well as in the healthcare sector. The whole objective is to deepen our impact working with key partners.
Interesting, a relationship dating over 70 years in Nigeria. But at the moment, let's look at the small businesses, the small and medium enterprises that have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Although Africa, which Nigeria, of course, is part of, hasn't seen the worst in numbers as regards infections and deaths, but economically, they've been hard hit. So what are you doing in that regard with businesses in Nigeria?
Thank you. You are very correct. The SMEs are really the engine of growth and the backbone of a number of our sectors of our country as well. And like rightly pointed out, many of these businesses have been affected by the COVID pandemic. First of all, in terms of our response, the first thing we did at CDC is to really protect our investee companies. And we did that by really providing liquidity support as well as technical advice to our partners for them to be able to first survive the impact of the crisis. In addition to that, we know that one of the challenges during this period is the lack of access to finance, because many financiers are essentially reducing exposure because of the high risk profile resulting from the pandemic. And we have done that by working with a wide range of partners and essentially putting money into, first of all, wholesalers who are able to really put money into the small and medium enterprises. One example of that is the investment we made in the Blue Orchard COVID-19 response. That's a $300 million fund that was specifically put together to be able to support SMEs in a wide range of sectors as well as countries, including Nigeria. So CDC is one of the key investors who are working in that particular space. In addition to that, you may be aware that CDC is one of the largest investors in the private equity industries. There are a number of our fund managers who are focusing on the SME space in Nigeria, and they are supporting a number of these companies, the SMEs in Nigeria. To give you an example, in Q4 last year, we are one of the investors in the Uhuru Capital inaugural fund, which is really going to invest in Nigeria, in Ghana, as well as Cote d'Ivoire, other francophone countries. And many of these fund managers are able to invest smaller amounts in a number of SMEs across a number of sectors. So we provide both direct and indirect investment to the SME space. In addition to that, we invest a lot in our banking partners in Nigeria. And one of the ways we do that is providing them with funding so that they will be able to then on-lend those funds to the SME space in Nigeria. Also in November last year, we invested $75 million into Stanbic IBTC Bank in Nigeria to enable them to be able to invest in core sectors of the economy. And some of that will be extended to the SME space in Nigeria. Those are some of the ways we try to support the SMEs in Nigeria. We know that we're still going through the impact of the pandemic, and it will take some time before that is actually, completely dealt with. So we continue to be available to support SMEs directly and through our partners.
Especially as tomorrow we kick off celebrating MSME Week. But I was going to ask you what sectors and regions in Nigeria you're interested in CDC is, but I think you mentioned earlier infrastructure and health, unless there are others. Some might ask, what's in it for you, if you don't mind my putting it that way, because they say there's no free lunch even in Freetown. If I put it another way, what does sustainable investment look like according to CDC?
So, I think just to if you go back to our mission, CDC is a development finance institution. Our mission is to support sustainable long-term development of businesses in our key geographies. We're doing that because in the market in which we're operating, we see a very significant development challenges in our market. And our objective is to really support the growth of the private sector and to contribute towards addressing some of these challenges. And part of it is to demonstrate to investors that even though our markets can be very challenging, it's very possible to achieve the three pillars objective that CDC has. One of which is to foster development. The second one is to make returns. And by investing in Nigeria over the past 70 years, we have demonstrated that you can actually make returns in our economy, even though the markets can be challenging. And lastly, to show that we can do that by investing in an environmentally and socially positive manner. So we are doing it because we can achieve these objectives, which are the core mission and objectives that CDC is here to achieve. And that is why we are doing this. It's basically the reason we exist.
Interesting. Now let's talk about those who make up a large chunk of businesses. The women, and this is not from me, available statistics do prove that there are more female entrepreneurs in Africa, Nigeria inclusive. So despite having those numbers, over 70%, they face multiple challenges, access to finance. In fact, the World Bank puts a report that $42 billion financing gap exists for African women across business value chains. So let me ask you, what is the CDC doing to ensure that more women can access finance? Are you doing anything to help them participate when it comes to economic participation?
That is very correct. And we recognize that challenge at CDC. And that is the reason why we have actually taken a number of steps to help to address some of the challenges that women are facing in participating in economic activity. You may be aware that CDC is one of the co-founders of the 2X Challenge. Now, the 2X Challenge is a multilateral drive to empower women in many dimensions. One, as actually entrepreneurs, in other words, investing in women-owned businesses. The second is around empowering women as business leaders, which really ensures that you have a large number of women in senior management positions. We're also The third dimension is around women as employees, making sure that there is fair representation of women in the workforce. And lastly, ensuring that women are empowered to be consumers of goods and services. So these partners that we are working together are really focusing on those objectives. And in addition to that, CDC played a big part in establishing the 2X private equity fund for those who are focusing on gender lens financing. And at the moment, I think year to date, that fund has raised about $7 billion. And the target is that in the next few years, we will be raising about $15 billion to be able to do that. And what that does is really you encourage women, you empower women to be economically active. It is going to take time, but we are seeing a very significant progress being made in that area. At CDC, over $500 million out of our current investments actually qualify for the 2X challenge. And we are hoping that within the next 2 years,
we'll have to stop you there.
Get to $1 billion.
Apologies for that. Thank you for the time you gave us.